Hello and welcome back to another video. I'm here in hot and sunny Manchester. It's not so often you can say that. I thought I would make a final video to wrap up and draw a line under the Kenya kidnapping incident, to inform you of how things are finished. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for the absolutely overwhelming support that I've received. I've been overwhelmed by the amazing comments I've received from everyone, both here on YouTube and people who've contacted me directly. So firstly, I'd like to confirm that I am completely fine. It was a traumatizing experience, but as time passes, the trauma fades and it's just a bad memory and put down to experience. So, moving on to the banks that I've dealt with. So I had cards with 3 different banks that the thieves rinsed for what they could. The Co-op, Halifax and Barclays. So Co-op, mostly good, resolved quickly, money refunded or blocked from leaving my account all within a week. They sent me a replacement card, but I think someone got confused and the replacement card got replaced. But that's all sorted now. I did need to do a funds transfer to a friend a few days ago, and that was blocked by their fraud department, perhaps understandably. I had to call them to get that released and set up the transfer. Halifax, all good. All funds actually blocked from leaving my account because all the transactions were still pending. The final card was with Barclays. Now, the experience with Barclays was terrible. Whilst the other 2 banks were all done and dusted within a week, Barclays took a month. With Halifax and Co-op, you were speaking to UK call centres. Co-op were in Skelmersdale and Halifax were in Scotland somewhere. I think it's Edinburgh, but I'm not sure. All the admin for Barclays seems to be done overseas, and from the accent of the operatives on the phone, I'm guessing it's India. So the process for getting the refunds completed with Barclays was different to the other 2. It couldn't be done over the phone. They required a paper form to be completed for me to write down the transactions that were fraudulent, even though they can see them on the account. So I'm looking at the account that they're providing to me and writing down information and showing them back their own information, but that's their ridiculous process. So they promised to send me one of these forms for me to complete, and a week passed. I chased it up. After 10 days, I chased it up again. I'd not received this form. This was getting close to the time when I was going to depart on my European road trip, and I wanted it sorted before I left. So the last person that I spoke to actually directed me to where I could download a copy of this form on the internet and print it off myself. Why on earth the first person I spoke to didn't tell me this, or the second person, or the third person, heaven only knows. but the last person I spoke to did give me this information. So I was able to complete the form and pop it in the post to them. A few days later, I did get an SMS to let me know they'd received the form, and another week or more after that, they confirmed that the refunds had been completed. Thank goodness. So why they need that paper form, it's just beyond me. The process really is not fit for purpose, and I would say that the stress that I was going through at the time was intensified by the incompetence of Barclays, I'm afraid to say. So moving on, I bought a new phone and I can see the location of my stolen AirPods, and they appear to be in the location of the Langata police station in Nairobi, which is the police station where I reported the crime and made 3 separate journeys there from where I was staying in Nairobi. That seems rather odd. Why would my AirPods be at the police station? Anyway, I've been exchanging WhatsApp messages with the detective that's been leading the case, and I asked him if they'd recovered any of my property. In fact, I asked him that twice, and he just didn't reply. And the second time he came back a few days later with a different question for me. He wanted to ask me if I will be prepared to travel to Kenya to give evidence in front of a court. Well, what do you think? Travel to Kenya at my expense? That will cost me thousands of pounds, more than the value of the items that have been stolen, into a dangerous country, putting myself in danger and at risk again? Not a chance. So I will give evidence via a video link or any phone call, or they already have a signed and witnessed statement from me that was made in their police station. So that should be enough. But if they want any further confirmation from them, I'm happy to help. But I will 100% not be going to Kenya. Not a chance. I suppose they have to ask, but really, am I going back to the scene of the worst crime I've ever been victim of? No, I'm absolutely not. So I still don't really understand why my AirPods are showing up at the location of the police station. It makes you think, have they recovered some property but they want to retain it as evidence? If so, why not tell me? Or possibly does someone at the police station know a little more than they're admitting to, and there's perhaps some insider job going on? Who knows? I'll probably never find out. So finally, I did submit an insurance claim for the stolen items, which were my AirPods, my sunglasses, a small amount of cash, my Apple Watch. I didn't really expect to get anything because all of them were really old. The Apple Watch was about 7 years or 8 years old. I didn't have the receipt. The AirPods were only about a year old, and I did have the receipt. So I submitted a claim with my travel insurance, and they've actually paid out a couple of £100. So they didn't give me anything for the Apple Watch because I couldn't find the receipt and it was so old. I guess I was due to buy a new one anyway. or just wear a normal watch instead of a smartwatch. So absolutely every penny that was stolen from my bank accounts has been refunded, and I've received a couple of £100 towards the items that were stolen. So at this point I'm ready to draw a line under things and call it a day. So that for me is the end of the saga. If you've found this information useful or entertaining, or maybe not, please give the video a like. Subscribe to my channel if you would like to stay in touch and keep abreast of future travels that I have. I shall endeavour to publish details here. Thank you for watching, and goodbye for now.